Watch collecting is odd. You always start with one, maybe as a treat to yourself, and next thing you know, you've got way too many. Your wish list is full of watches and weird watch accessories. You got your name jotted down at a couple of boutiques, and you've definitely got a bank account crying for mercy. Hey folks, I'm Em. Welcome to my channel. Let me preface all of this by saying I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just someone that fell into this rabbit hole a couple of years ago. And this is how my journey started, with my first mechanical wristwatch, my Omega Speedmaster. Mechanical watches have always charmed me. Hundreds of tiny pieces balanced together and synchronized in order to achieve accuracy in timekeeping. It's ultimately a small analog machine that will outlive you, as long as it finds someone to wind it. In the past couple of years, I've grown incredibly fond of these little bastards, and after a lot of research, I finally found what would be my one and only watch. Next thing you know, you've got way too many. How can you not love a good chronograph? I adore the look of a really nice, balanced 3-sub-dial design, and I've been flirting with the idea of getting a Speedmaster, a moonwatch, for a while. That was until I saw this first Omega in Space edition. Let's go back to 1962. Astronaut William Schirra is embarking on the Sigma 7 mission, an 8-hour-long orbiting technical flight. Now, back then NASA did not have a standard issue wristwatch yet, so he puts on his trusty Omega Speedmaster, a reference CK2998. So he made it the first Omega to go into space, which is what this reference is celebrating. Of course, an Omega Speedmaster Professional later became known as the Moonwatch, part of NASA's standard issue to all manned missions. Despite this being a modern reference, it's almost identical to the original reference CK2998. The face is slightly smaller than the Moonwatch at 39.7mm. It's got straight lugs and a symmetrical case, which looks beautiful. Additionally, I love the 50s style chronograph pushers. They really remind me of 50s style chronograph pushers? But in all seriousness, this watch has a really timeless feel to it. As with most Speedmasters from 1962 onwards, this also comes with a, nowadays mostly useless, but still pretty cool to look at, a black tachymeter scale bezel, which parades its face proudly from the case while surrounding the sapphire glass. While admiring the Speedmaster, I found this beautiful black dial with a really tasteful silver applied Omega logo at 12 o'clock. Even at a glance, the craftsmanship is undeniable. Its polished alpha hands silently sweep on for hours, minutes, and seconds, while a second set of loomed chronograph hands eagerly awaits for further instructions. The back carries engraved the numbered edition of the watch. This was a numbered release, and since it got discontinued in 2021, I can now consider it a limited edition. The classic Omega Hippocampus displays an unmissable engraved back, as well as a tribute to when the watch became the first Omega in space, by subtly engraving the date to remind us of the occasion. It is completed by a beautiful pin-lock brown leather strap. It comes in a weighty wooden box, with a manual and a wallet to contain your pictograms and warranty cards, otherwise uselessly empty as more expensive watch boxes are. However, what captured me the most about this piece is the elegance that it poured as soon as I opened the box. It is the classiest Speedmaster I've seen. The polished lugs and hands, along with the little detail of the logo, make this look like a little jewel as soon as any light hits the dial. And it is the biggest difference that I found between this reference and the Moonwatch. On this one, the light catches the face. On the Moonwatch, the light catches the case. Like many of us, I usually use timers in my everyday life. Timing something is useful. For example, while cooking, while studying something, while exercising. The point is, I find myself needing to time things, and as long as this is on my wrist, I'm going to use this chronograph function. The way the pusher activates with a firm thud allows both you and the chronograph second hands to just become enraptured and enslaved by the running seconds gear and start ticking along. This beauty comes with a 30 minutes register on a 3 o'clock subdial and a 12 hours register on a 6 o'clock subdial. Speaking of the chronograph, let's talk for a second about what's powering it. Whether you'll ever take the time to open its case back to admire it or not, this Omega, like most Speedmasters in the past 20 years, is running on a caliber 1861, lazily beating at 3 Hz and with a power reserve of 48 hours. I've always loved how pure closed-back designs are, all of that tiny detail and beauty of the movement just for another watchmaker to see. Even though I'm a vain bitch and I love a display case back. It is a manually wound movement, which means that I took into the habit of taking a few minutes out of every day to just wind my watches, which is something that some people find annoying. I find it charming and part of the experience of owning this chronograph. The caliber 1861 has been a workhorse for Omega, although it does not meet some qualifications that people obsessing over precision and testing might have as a requirement. It has now been replaced in the professional line by the caliber 3861. How does it wear? Its adaptability is almost unrivaled, especially in everyday life. Whether you're the t-shirt and jeans hippie or the suit and tie wanker, this bastard will do you right. Its thickness is another of its most prominent attributes, while still being able to be slid under a cuff, and its smaller case accommodates most sizes of wrists, making it also a great unisex watch if it fits your style. It's a very casually elegant design. How does it make me feel? Like a powerful blood unicorn from hell. In all seriousness though, the most important thing about this watch for me is that it makes my day a little bit better when I'm wearing it. I've personally gotten it as a reminder of one of the achievements I've had in my life, and that never fails to make me smile when I look down at my wrist. Yes, that's the perfect excuse we all come up with. And then after we end them all, it's just a matter of, I like them, shut up! But honestly, I'm glad it was the first luxury watch I chose to get. If you're looking to get one, you have all of my recommendations. I'm also looking forward to see if I can find one of the new Omega bracelets for this, because this could be a great one watch collection for the people that would stop after one. The Omega Speedmaster First Omega in Space must be one of the prettiest speedies I've seen, and I've spent a lot of times looking at a lot of them. From its smaller case to how the dial catches the light, the elegant hands and the leather strap, it was a real surprise once I finally opened the box and had it in front of me. Being discontinued, your only way to get one of these at the moment is through the grey market, and at the time of this video you can snag one for yourself for about £5,000. My original intention, after 2 years of immersing myself in mechanical watches, was to culminate and then ending up buying what would end up being my one watch for at least a few years. And then like a month later, I just went out for a little walk and threw up in a little boutique and... Folks, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, press like. And if you want to know what I ended up getting in that boutique, subscribe so you're not gonna miss it. Leave a comment if you've guessed it, or just let me know what do you think of this Speedy. I really appreciate your support. See you next time.